So folks, it's the middle of the night when I'm recording this. I was about to go to bed, but then I saw that Donald Trump was having yet another demented late night meltdown. And normally I wouldn't cover every single time that Donald Trump does this because it does happen so frequently. And for the most part, he's just kind of screaming into the wind. But this one is significant. He said, because of his meltdown, that all trade negotiations with Canada are terminated, and he is working with another presidential foundation to cover up this story, to lie about this story. And I'm not going to let him get away with that. I'm going to give you the full truth here. I'm going to break down everything I'm seeing for you right now. Before I do so, make sure to subscribe to the channel. There have been a lot of MAGA trolls here recently because Donald Trump and JD Vance attacked me on social media, so you joining me and helping me continue to get under Donald Trump's skin goes an incredibly long way. Drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think about the story. Without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start here because this is where it all really happened. So last night, or tonight I should say, Donald Trump at 11:15 p.m. posted this on social media saying, quote, "The Ronald Reagan Foundation has just announced that Canada has fraudulently used an advertisement which is fake, featuring Ronald Reagan speaking negatively about tariffs. The ad was for $75 million. They only did this to interfere with the decision of the U.S. Supreme Court and other courts." I have no idea what Grandpa's screaming about right there. "Tariffs are very important to the national security and economy of the USA. Based on their egregious behavior, all trade negotiations with Canada are hereby terminated. Thank you for your attention to this matter." What do we think is going on here? Is Donald Trump just going crazy, or is he trying to do some more market manipulation? Or maybe there's a third option I'm not considering right now. Let me know in the comments what you think is going on. And then he cited this statement, I guess, that came from the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation that said the foundation and institute learned that Ontario created an ad using selective audio and video of Ronald Reagan delivering his radio address to the nation on free and fair trade, dated April 25th, 1987. The ad misrepresents the presidential radio address, and the government of Ontario did not seek nor receive permission to use and edit the remarks. I don't know why they would have to, because it's a president speaking, it's public. The Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation and Institute is reviewing its legal options in this matter. We encourage you to watch President Reagan's unedited video on our YouTube channel. And so, let's play the ad that Donald Trump is freaking out about. This is the ad that Donald Trump claims is fake and is selective and is somehow trying to interfere with the Supreme Court. He says an ad running in Ontario, a different country, a different city in a different country, is somehow messing with the Supreme Court. Just watch.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time. But over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer. High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs. Throughout the world, there's a growing realization that the way to prosperity for all nations is rejecting protectionist legislation and promoting fair and free competition. America's jobs and growth are at stake.
A pretty moving ad, if I'm being honest. Hate Ronald Reagan, disagree with Ronald Reagan on a variety of policies, obviously, but a moving ad by the government of Ontario, and that is what sent Donald Trump into this late night spiral taking place 11:15 p.m., saying that all trade negotiations are hereby terminated because of that ad that he calls fake, and is misrepresenting Ronald Reagan. But thanks to the amazing people at Midas Touch, they've managed to pull a couple of different videos of Reagan speaking about tariffs, including the original address that the Reagan Foundation directed all of us to go watch. So let's just take a look at this clip of Reagan where they, in 1988, talking about tariffs. And you can tell me if there's any ambiguity here as to how he felt about this whole trade negotiation talk.
Our peaceful trading partners are not our enemies. They are our allies. We should beware of the demagogues who are ready to declare a trade war against our friends, weakening our economy, on national security and the entire free world, all while cynically waving the American flag. The expansion of the international economy is not a foreign invasion. It is an American triumph, one we worked hard to achieve and something central to our vision of a peaceful and prosperous world of freedom.
He's literally describing Donald Trump. Every word he just said, a demagogue willing to initiate a trade war like that with our allies while flying the American flag, that's Donald Trump. That's Donald Trump. And now Trump is trying to claim that somehow Reagan didn't feel this way, that his own words, he actually didn't mean his own words. He's obviously vehemently against trade wars in what he's saying right here. But Donald Trump, I guess, thinks there's some nuance there that we're all just missing, apparently. Here's the actual address. We'll just play a short bit of this that the Reagan Foundation and Trump is saying was miscited.
Throughout the world, there's a growing realization that the way to prosperity for all nations is rejecting protectionist legislation and promoting fair and free competition. Now, there are sound historical reasons for this. For those of us who lived through the Great Depression, the memory of the suffering it caused is deep and searing. And today, many economic analysts and historians argue that high tariff legislation passed back in that period, called the Smoot-Hawley Tariff, greatly deepened the Depression and prevented economic recovery. You see, at first, when someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time. What eventually occurs is, first, homegrown industries start relying on government protection in the form of high tariffs. They stop competing and stop making the innovative management and technological changes they need to succeed in world markets. And then, while all this is going on, something even worse occurs. High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars. The result is more and more tariffs, higher and higher trade barriers, and less competition. So soon, because of the prices made artificially high by tariffs that subsidize inefficiency and poor management, people stop buying. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs. The memory of all this occurring back in the 30s made me determined when I came to Washington to spare the American people the protectionist legislation that destroys prosperity.
I mean, we just watched it with that's Reagan, right? Unedited, came right from their YouTube channel as the Reagan Foundation requested. There is no ambiguity. We're not missing anything. He is saying that the protectionist policy of tariffs, for example, he mentions tariffs by name, by the way, are dangerous and they hurt Americans. They hurt markets. They cause retaliation from foreign countries. They cause people to lose their jobs. Like, there's no, I don't even understand why Donald Trump, well, I guess I'll never understand why Donald Trump is lying about something like this. And I definitely don't understand why the Reagan Foundation is getting involved in Donald Trump's lies and backing up his lies. It's like a weird partnership of falsehoods. But regardless, they can put out all the statements they want. Donald Trump can get on Truth Social and say that all trade negotiations with Canada are terminated because he is a man-child. He's a child stuck in a unfortunate grown man's body. But that doesn't change the facts. We just watched Reagan, you and me, just watched Reagan say exactly what they said in the ad. There was no selective editing, no context missing. He said exactly what was said in that ad. And apparently it's fake. It's just nonsense. But this is the late night rant that Donald Trump had tonight / when you're watching this last night. And it's crazy. It's just crazy. So look, I'll leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I just had to get on top of this story because, terminating negotiations because of a lie is so crazy. But make sure to drop a like on the video, comment, let me know, again, what you think about the story. And as I always say, make sure to have an amazing rest of your day. And of course, we will talk soon.